What's good, y'all? It's your girl, Sweet Nina, and I am back with this video. Yes, I look crazy. It is late night. I've been up doing stuff, putting stuff away, cleaning stuff, entertaining my son, doing schoolwork for him. It is towards the end of the year, but he is homeschooled. So if you are new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I am sorry it's so close, but as you can see, I got a tanky top on right now. So, because after I'm done with this video, I gotta wrap this bad boy up and then get myself in the shower. I wanted to wash my hair tonight. That ain't happened. I got a whole, so I took my braids out, my cornrows out that I had in my mohawk, and just didn't wash it yesterday. So I'm gonna have to wash it tomorrow because it's too late for me to wash it tonight, because I'm not gonna feel like blow drying it. So right now I got a bonnet on. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Click off. This is real life. So this video is going to be about my carpal tunnel syndrome. I have promised this video and been trying to do it, and every time I try to do it, something go down, something happen. I gotta do something, this something, or it'd be too late and I get tired. So it's about to be real and raw how I am right now tonight. This is the video. So carpal tunnel. It is a condition that can be hereditary from what I've been told by my surgeon, or it can be just something that's developed over time. So for me, let's start off with my backstory. So I started doing hair, braiding other people's hair at the age of 9. Not very good, you know, just pretty much diddling, daddling, just trying to do hair. Because my grandmother couldn't really do my hair anymore, so I had to learn kind of how to do it myself to go to school. When I moved with my mother, I was 10. And at that time, it was me, my mother, and my younger sister. My sister is 4 years younger than me, maybe 5 years younger than me. Either way, she's younger than me. So my mom really couldn't do hair like that either. So I would be the one doing my hair and my sister's hair for school. Braiding, little knocker balls, anything you could think of. We were kids. So anyway, that went on for years. And I had someone in the neighborhood, my best friend at the time, her older sister did hair. And I admired her. I still admire her to this day because she still does hair to this day. Portia, if you're watching, love you. Hey, girl. She started, me and her sister became friends. And once I seen her, you know, I think it really started, her starting doing my hair when we were about in the 7th grade. Either way, she started doing my hair, which I was happy about, because that means I didn't have to try to do my own hair to make me look decent for the higher grades that I was going to. Because when I moved from with my grandmother to my mother, it was 4th grade summer. So I started 5th grade at the school that we went to in Maryland. So started school there, and I was looking crazy. I had all them old school, big old one ponytail on top of your head, old clothing, because we lived in the country. So pretty much hand-me-downs, things like that is what you got. And of course, I was talked about things like that, but it is what it is. Kids gonna be kids. I got through it all, but I made friends with this girl. And her sister did hair. So her sister was doing my hair, and I would do my sister's hair. I would take what she would do and try to do what she did to my hair and do to my sister's hair, except for no hair extensions and stuff like that. Either way, fast forward throughout the years, I learned to love hair even more through my best friend's sister. So she would do all these different styles on me, on her sister, on her own hair, on her friend's hair, things like that. So it encouraged me to want to learn more and know more. So we ended up moving away at a certain point. And moving away, I ended up having to, well, in my own opinion, I had to make money. So I started doing hair for money. Then we ended up moving back to the state that we were, because we moved from where we were, from Maryland to Virginia. Then moved from Virginia, where everything was okay. I started trying to, you know, get friends and stuff out there where we were. And we moved back to Maryland. When we moved back to Maryland, I ended up having to go to school by using my best friend's address. That was just the best way to get me into the better school that I was going to be going to if I was still in that neighborhood. So as we're doing that throughout class and stuff, I'll be braiding friends' hair. We'll be done with our schoolwork, and the teacher will allow us to do, you know, what we wanted to do after we were done. And that's what I would do. I would do friends' hair, make money from that, go to the next class. That friend, if I didn't finish their hair in the classroom that we were in, I would finish it in the next class. That's just how it was. They weren't too, you know, oh, you can't do this, you do it. As long as you were done with your schoolwork and you weren't causing an issue to anybody else in the classroom who wasn't done yet or causing a ruckus, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted as long as you stayed in the classroom. So that's what I did. I would get home and friends said, hey, can you do my hair, blah, 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 blah. So technically I've been doing hair since I was 9. Really gotten into the braiding when I was like 12, 13. And then of course, freshman year of high school, it got even more into it. I was doing more hair, my own hair, my friend's hair, my family's hair, things of that nature. Just going. Because I really didn't start having a job until I was 15, 16. My very first job was actually in a unisex barbershop. That was right around the area that we lived in. It was right next to a Chinese spot where we always got our food from. Loved it. So I was the braider there for just a little bit. I was 14. So I still had things to learn. I wasn't the best braider. None of that stuff. I still had stuff to, you know, figure out how to do. But they allowed me to work there for a little bit. But then things got bad in the neighborhood and then we had to move. And we moved back to Virginia. So when I got back to Virginia, I pretty much was like, I need to make money because I couldn't ask my mom for money, couldn't ask my dad for money. Well, my stepdad, he is my dad too, but he is technically my stepfather. But they had got a house and we moved into that house after we moved from Maryland, and I needed to make extra money. I didn't want to ask them for anything. I didn't want to feel like a burden. I was a freshman in high school still because my father was actually taking myself and all of our siblings back to Maryland so we can go to school every single day for 2 years straight and then going to work himself every day. So I didn't want to ask my dad for no money. Dad, can you give me this? No, I didn't want to ask my dad for nothing. Dad, if you're ever watching this video, just know I love you so much and I appreciate everything you've done for all of us. All of us. Because you didn't have to, but to keep us happy and when keeping us with our friends, you sacrificed yourself, your health, that car, because he had a Honda Civic and it was a stick shift, traffic, every single day for 2 years straight, because none of us wanted to leave the schools that we were in Maryland. But eventually we had to. It was just too much. So either way, I will be going to school in Maryland. We'll be up out the house by 4, 5 o'clock a.m. back to Maryland on the where we got to be so we can get to school. I'm in school braiding hair after classes, get done with classes. Dad's picking us all up. We heading back to Virginia to come to the house that they bought or whatever so we can live safely and things like that. And that was the friends I made here. I pretty much introduced myself to as many people as I could to let them know, hey, I do hair. Like, if any of them are watching, there was a dude, his name is Manny, and another dude, his name was JJ. And I walked up to both of them in the mall with my homegirl. Kia, if you're watching, hey boo, hey. But me and my homegirl, we walked in the mall. We weren't even supposed to be in the mall that night because whenever her mom dropped her off at Miles, we used to be so scared that her mom would be riding around looking to see if we were outside walking around. Auntie Karen, I love you. I promise we were always good. But we would go into the mall. My dad knew where we'd be or whatever, but she had been my friend for years. She still is my friend for years. But we would go into the mall and, you know, just walk around, whatever. And me, I'm an outgoing person. I mean, she is too, but, you know, I was just like, you know, I need to make some money for real. I was about my business. So I walked up to 2 dudes. I seen one with a do-rag around his head. The other one, he had some old cornrows in his hair, and I told both of them. And at this time, anybody that knows me know, I started off doing the hair for $10. It didn't matter what you wanted. It could be individuals. It could be regular cornrows, crazy cornrows, freestyle cornrows. Let me do whatever I want, $10. That's what I was charging. And I told the 2 dudes, I said, y'all don't know me, but I braid hair. I had just did the front of my hair. And I showed them, I was like, I did this. And I had like some little braids or something in the front or whatever, like half size when the half styles was out where you do cornrow to half of your head and you do whatever else with the rest. And I was like, I did this. I was like, y'all should let me do your hair. That's just how I approached it. And if y'all are ever watching, y'all can comment. I don't think they're watching my videos, but if they ever watched, that's how I approached them. I was like, look, I do both your heads for $10, 5 a piece. But I was really charging $10 for people. But I told them, because they didn't know me, I needed to make clientele. And by that way, it's word of mouth. And that's how I learned when I lived in Maryland. So it was, look, I'll do both y'all hair for $5. It's like, man, what? You ain't, because they don't know me. They don't know. And I told them, like, nah, I'm over here. This is where I'm at. Blah, blah, blah. Come holler at me. I'll do both of y'all hair. Did both of their hair, and they loved it. I don't even remember the first styles. I think I did zigzags on my homeboy JJ's hair, and I forgot what I did on my homeboy Manny's hair. But their hair texture is completely different. My boy Manny, he's African American. My boy JJ, he was Mexican. So he didn't think that I could even do his hair because of his hair type. His hair was very thick. I tell you that, very thick and straight. His hair wasn't curly, nothing, but he didn't think I could do it. Proved both of them wrong, and they was clients after that, coming back every week. The next thing you know, this person's coming, this person's coming, this person's coming, this person's coming. So technically what I'm saying is that I was doing it for a long time. At the age of 9, started. Got really serious about it at the age of between 13 and 15. Got really, really serious. At the age of 16, my hands started to hurt because I was literally doing so much hair. Anybody that knows me, that's watched this, that knows me in my past with braiding hair, they know. If you called me at 2 a.m. and saying you got something important to do the next day and you need someone to do your hair, I was outside braiding your hair even if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, because that was my passion. I love to do hair. I love for people to look nice. I love people to love their hair, all of the above. So that was how much dedicated I was. But I was neglecting my own hands. I would be braiding my hair. Somebody see my hair, oh, your hair look nice, come on, do that. I was, okay, yeah, holla at me, this where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. I was just doing it, you know what I mean? And I was still going to school, high school. My senior year, my junior and senior year, I had, my junior year I had a full day. And then my senior year, I had a half a day. I was out of school by 10 o'clock. And I was, hey, I come through so you can hit me, get me up. That's just what it was. And I never really turned anyone down unless they weren't trying to pay me. There were people that tried to pay me in other ways because of what other braiders would like to get paid. That ain't me. They wanted to give, oh, I got some marijuana. Oh, no, run me my money. Because I buy my own stuff. If I want something, I drink alcohol a lot. I would get my alcohol. But I don't want no marijuana from you. I don't want no favors. I'm not finna do no favor. A lot of people were trying those type of things because that's what other females were allowing to happen. Not this one. And people were starting to get upset with it. So by the time I hit my senior year, a little bit after that, I graduated high school in 2004. Went to cosmetology school in 2005. No, that year, same year. And I was supposed to graduate in 2005. It didn't happen. Some things happened, and I had to come out of it. Family-wise, things happened. So I didn't get to finish. But that was my passion. I was already halfway through my hours on the floor, already working at the school for when people will come in. You got to sign a waiver to let you do their hair. I was already at that point. I had already graduated to that point. But I ended up having to come out of it because of family things. So I never got to finish. But at that point, I had to get a regular job. And I would do the regular job, still do some people's hair, but then I ended up drinking a lot. Started turning to drink a lot because there was just so much going on family-wise. So by those times between the ages of 16, which I was, a junior, sophomore, junior, my hands started hurting real bad. I go to the doctor for my checkup. You know, they ask you what's going on. That's before they started getting real specific about what they're going to charge you for. 16, that was 2003. 2003, yeah, because I graduated 2004. So 2002 to 2003. So that between that year frame, this is when you were allowed to talk about everything in your doctor's appointment without being charged extra. Nowadays, they charging you for every, you say you got a headache, they charging you for it, no matter if it's a checkup or not. Back then, they didn't do that. So back then, of course, I tell them, like, yeah, my hands have been hurting, blah, 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 swollen, feeling like this. And they tell you, well, take Naproxen. They gave me Naproxen. And that's, if you don't know what that is, it's to help swelling, inflammation in your hands and stuff like that. That helped a little bit, and they told me to pretty much stop doing hair for a while. Did I like that? No. But I had to slow down. And then it ended up being where a lot of the people who hair I was doing, they were getting mad because I had to slow down. But they were also finding new people to do the designs that I was already doing. A lot of the designs I did and people were bringing to me to do, they started having these other females do it for either free, for favors, for other things that I mentioned that I would not accept, stuff like that. So my clientele started going downhill. So eventually my hands started to get better. But then I started doing more hair again once I moved away, got on my own, Long story, extra short. Well, not even that. Long story short. Fast forward to 2022. Because pandemic, of course, happened in 2020. I lost my main job that I had for years due to the pandemic. So had to find other means of work. I was a receptionist for almost 7 years. Didn't have to type that much as I was a receptionist, talking on the phone a lot, but I didn't have to type that much. Well, after losing that job, had to get another job, got another job, odds and ends, whatever, just to make ends meet. Then 2022 comes, and the job that I have now, which is working health insurance, which means I'm on the phones because it's call center, which means I'm typing an extremely lot as well. In between those, while I'm on the phone, I'm typing what these people are saying, looking up stuff, doing this, doing that, constantly getting off the phone, got a little bit of time after to finish up, documenting. I'm typing, honest to God, 50% more than what I was as a receptionist. My hands started to hurt within 4 to 5 months of doing this job. So I had a doctor's appointment that I made at the same surgeon who did my hands this time last year, 2023. And they told me you need to have a nerve testing done. Well, nerve testing at that time with my insurance, sorry, I was looking at my dog and my cat. They both sleep on the couch. Nerve testing with the insurance I had, you had to pay an extra. Well, I had another deductible. They're asleep, leave them alone. I had a deductible left of $600, and I needed to pay that in order to have the nerve testing done so they can tell how severe my hands were. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the money. I had to pay other things. So it ended up being I had to let that go, and I had to just deal with my hands hurting. Eventually, they kind of wind it down, and that's because I had to call out a lot. I had almost every other day, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. I was having to call out for my hands because they were hurt. And there'll be nothing to do. They'll wake up, they're swollen. Can't type that way, things like that. So it ended up being where I got through the rest of the year and got on break for the Christmas holiday. And one of the things I used to do, I used to smoke cigarettes, and that part of the issue. Well, I stopped smoking cigarettes. December 26th was when I had my very first and last cigarette of that end of that month. It was right after Christmas. Literally the next day, I had 1 cigarette left. I smoked that cigarette. That was the only cigarette I had that day, and I didn't have any more after that. And this is coming from a person who's been smoking since she was 15. I am now 38. You do the math. Judging mama, not me. Stressful times. Anyway, I stopped smoking. And then next thing I know, by the Friday, I'm feeling kind of sick. I clock in for work. By the time I got off of work that afternoon, off of the phones, I felt like a trickle in my throat. Well, it's like, okay, that's funny. Then I get a phone call from my mom telling me that her and my father were on the way following my sister to the emergency room with my niece because my niece is really sick bad. She had a cough Christmas holiday, but we didn't think nothing of it because there was no mucus. It wasn't any of that. But by that Friday, it was bad. They had to take her because she was throwing up and stuff. Found out she had RSV and a touch of pneumonia. So I was like, oh hell. We were around them that time. So next thing I know, literally, that Friday night, my son was like, Mommy, my head hurts. So here we go. So pretty much fast forward, the New Year's Eve weekend, me and son were in the bed sick. He was more sick than I was. He had a fever. I had to break it, all that stuff. My hands started hurting then. I was like, why are my hands hurting again? Anyway, get past the first 2 weeks of January, I ended up having to call out every day because we both were still sick, but he's worse than me. I'm the only one able to take care of him at the moment. So if he needed me, I wasn't gonna be able to be on the phones. If I needed to get up, wipe his butt for him because he's too afraid to, because of what was coming out, because he's not used to that, I would have to do that. I wasn't going to leave him sitting. You know, some parents are like, oh, you can just leave him sitting on the toilet. No, I'm not leaving my child sitting on the toilet while they wait for me to get off a phone call, which could be an hour long. No, not happening. So I just called out every day while he was sick. When he wasn't sick, I'll try to go back to work, and he'll be right back to the same state. Come to find out, he was having a little touch of RSV as well. He had a lot of mucus. When I tell you a lot of mucus, because I went through all cough medicines. I know this is off subject, but this is leading up to me having these surgeries. But he had so much mucus that he had to blow his nose like every 2 minutes. Because at first I thought his coughing was just because he actually had a cough. No. The coughing was because of the mucus draining down into his throat and he couldn't get it out. So I literally, every time he would cough, I saw him blow his nose. By the time he blew his nose, there was so much mucus in the daggone tissue every time, and it would clear up his coughing immediately. So I was like, okay, this is what you're gonna have to do, buddy. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to blow your nose every time you get a cough. And that's what we had to do in order to get the sickness out of him. Eventually, that went away, but he still had stuff come out the other end. Don't know where it was coming from. Don't know why. He was eating normal, but it was still turning into pretty much like a virus. The RSV, it was just going through. He got better. By this time, it's end of January almost. Well, I tried to go back to work again, and for me, my hands were severely swollen, both of them, left and right, hurting like crazy, left and right. I could not go like this without all of my knuckles on this hand feeling like they had air pockets in them that were tight in both hands. Literally every day I would have to take Tylenol, and I even bought naproxen. I even bought an arthritis cream because I just did not know. I was just trying to get back to work. Could not. I had to call out every day until I got a doctor's appointment. They didn't have any openings, so I had to wait until they had an opening. By this time, it is February 21st. They finally got an opening at the surgeon office. The same surgeon I went to last year. I went to my regular doctor. Hey, look, what you think I should do? She's like, make sure you go to your orthopedic doctor that everyone recommends. Bet. Did that. Got an appointment the next day after my PCP appointment. I think I've already put those up as well. Those videos you can go back and see. Got there. This time around, instead of doing x-rays on just my hands, they did x-rays on my neck as well to make sure that there wasn't any nerves or anything pinched in my neck, because I was also having pain all the way down to my elbow. Unbearable sometimes. So they checked that everything looked good, except for my hands still. So they said, we need you to do your nerve testing this time. I said, all right, bet. My deductible was already met. This time, my deductible was already met because I had a surgery the day that my insurance renewed for some other issue, completely different. I'll talk about that another day. So that actually helped me this time around to be able to have the nerve testing done to determine if it's severe, minor, whatever it may be. Well, went back for nerve testing. Wasn't nice feeling, but it wasn't bad either. I already anticipated what was going to happen. They put like some little electrodes on each of my hands right here and just did a little testing here. You can look up what they do. It was nerve testing for carpal tunnel syndrome. But then they also put little what's it called? I think right here and right here, the little acupuncture type needles, but they measure your nerves. They put 2 in each of my arms, 2 or 3, and then they tested that. Well, results came back within 24 hours. So the next day I got a phone call, and I had to make an appointment for the follow up, which was pretty much the next day. And yeah, they said you have extreme severe carpal tunnel syndrome. And if you don't do something, you're going to lose function of your hands. All right, what we got to do? There was no way that, because I had braces, the braces didn't work, naproxen didn't work, arthritis cream didn't work, none of that stuff, because thumb, pointer, and middle on both hands, completely numb from tip all the way down to wrist. Completely, because that's how compressed they were. Completely numb every day. The muscle here in this hand, I couldn't turn a doorknob without being in extreme pain. And I mean, it would be like somebody smacked it with something. I couldn't turn the door. I couldn't even go like this, turn the doorknob. It hurt so much right here. And from what she said is that it's a muscle here. And if I didn't do anything, I would lose, this muscle would deteriorate, is what she said. And of course, couldn't get that back. And then also it would be bending my hands even like this. And you know, you got to type. So I couldn't do that. That was the most painfulest sugar honey iced tea. Trying to bend my fingers like this to type, to do anything, even to demonstrate like that was hurting. I couldn't even hold a pen or pencil to write. And that's what made me jump fast as I could, because being not able to turn the doorknob without pain and then not being able to write. So because I couldn't even hold my fingers to write, everything was just worse. Okay, so not being able to do all of that made it to where they were like, you're going to have these surgeries done. They're so severe that you can lose function in your hands, period. So with my left hand, I can write neatly. Like, everything is neater with my left hand. I can pick up a fork and eat with my left hand. Turn a doorknob, stuff like that. With my right hand, I can write my name as well, but not as neat as my left hand. But I do everything else, like throw a football, hold a baseball, all the other stuff I do with my right hand. Pick up a pen, automatically it's my right hand, not my left hand. Cut things, it's with my right hand, not my left hand. It's just one of those things where it's just like, what they told me said I'm ambidextrous, but I used to always think if you're ambidextrous, that means you can do both things with each hand and it'd be the same way. Well, apparently not. So either way, I said, well, I think that I need to do the left hand first, because I can't even write with my hand, because that's the hand I normally write with. So we set a date. Of course, you got to go through all this where you got to tell your job that you're going to be out for a while. They're not going to be happy, blah, blah, blah. Especially when you're the one that has like scores across the board with 100% customer service rating, and now you're going to be out for a while. Because the year before, we tried to tell them, hey, look, they need to accommodate me so that way I can only be on the phones just typing for filming at a time. I need to be able to take breaks. They couldn't accommodate that. So I had to take it upon myself to save my hands myself last year. So that's why all that calling out and things like that, if it was going to be one, I had to call out, because my hands, I need to save them. What am I going to do if I can't use my hands? Just sit there on the phone and then it'll be written up because I couldn't type anything? No, I might as well call out, no matter if I have PTO or not. So that's what it was. I just took that L and it is what it is. So fast forward to now, I had to tell my job, hey, look, I'm going to be out. They got to do surgery. Warned y'all last year about it. Y'all didn't want to help with the accommodations. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, they're not claiming it as a workers' comp. It is what the fuck it is. I don't care. I just needed to make sure that I'm taken care of. So February 21st, my doctor put me out. No more working until you get your surgeries done. So technically, I've already been out January because we were sick. Now, and then of course, most of February because I couldn't do nothing with my hands. And now February, I'm out. So my first surgery was in April. That was on my left hand. I was put to sleep. Great, because I was worried because they had options. Hey, do you want to do this while you're awake? No. My BMI is too high. Let's put me to sleep, just in case. Because if I feel something and I can't get up, we're going to have a problem. So we put me to sleep. Mind you, my insurance was to renew in June, which means deductibles will come in play in June, which means it'll make it more difficult for me to even get a surgery done. Because nowadays, most places want their deductible up front, period. You pay that first before they even touch you in a lot of places. And if you don't have it, you're signing some paper saying you're going to give it to them eventually, something, if they trust you enough to do that. Either way, first surgery was in April. I was put to sleep. The same surgeon that I seen last year is the same surgeon who worked on me this year. Amazing, because it was to the point where I could not, with my left hand, of any of my hands, feel hair strands. It was so difficult to even do my son's hair, to do my sister-in-law's hair, to do my hair. it would take me hours because I could not feel anything. I would have to stop what I'm doing. It could be me braiding just the first 3 strands and my hands would go completely numb on each hand. The thumb, the pointer, the thumb, the pointer, and the middle. Those are the main ones. Because if you don't know, this is where they do the surgery at. Right here. You can see my scar. It's from like right here to here. It's still a little sensitive when I touch it like that. But there's a very, I'll find a diagram to put up. But here is a nerve here, a nerve that comes to here, nerve that comes to here, then there's one that comes to here. And when I did the surgery, I couldn't feel anything in these 3 fingers. Couldn't feel my hair string, couldn't nothing. When they took me out and I was up, they were surprised that I was up so quickly from anesthesia, whatever. I'm always get up quickly from anesthesia, but they were just shocked that I was up talking, asking for something to eat because I was hungry as hell. I couldn't eat from 12 o'clock until surgery was over. Surgery wasn't done until like, I didn't get to go to surgery until like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I didn't get out of it until like almost 4. I was hungry as shit. Anyway, they told me to wiggle my hands. Did that. Then I myself went and was like touching my hair. I was like, I can feel my hair again. And they were just looking at me. I was like, I couldn't feel it. They were like, oh, wow. So immediate change with this hand. Recovery wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. They had me wrapped up just like how this one is, but thicker. This one was thicker as well. They put gauze on where your stitches are. Then they put like this cotton type stuff around it. Then they put a half cast on it. So your hands literally sitting out like this instead. And then they put a wrap around it. Can't stop it. Then they put a whole wrap around it. They did the same thing on this side. So I was fine to use this hand, even though this hand was hurting like hell too. But I was fine to use the bathroom. I could wipe myself, stuff like that. So I use this hand to do that because I can reach better because I'm a fat girl for real. Anyway, but recovery is fine. I couldn't bend back a certain amount. I couldn't lift a certain amount. I think it was like with this, they was like, at the hospital I had this one done and they was like, you can't lift more than 4 or 5 pounds. Ice pack on 30 minutes, ice pack off 30 minutes. Couldn't get it wet for 2 weeks. And if you got it wet, you had to let them know immediately. Or if like your stitches split open or something, you got to let them know immediately. What else was it? They wanted you to use your hands more though, your fingers and stuff more as you're out of surgery. You're supposed to have your physical therapy appointment at least 2 days after. This time around, I forgot to do my appointment, so my appointment's not gonna be until a week after the surgery. Either way, but they wanted you to have your physical therapy at least 2 days after. And then you do little exercises. So I had already looked at the exercises they was gonna want me to do. So like this is one of the exercises where you're like putting your hand all the way down like this. Then you bring it like this kinda. And then you're just doing like that and kind of pulling it back as far as you can. Then the other one is kind of like reaching over with your thumb. Then one of them is pretty much to do this. And then to come down to kind of do that. And then there's another one to kind of hold your wrist but kind of wave like a windshield wiper. And there was something else, but I was able to do that with ease. When I went to physical therapy, the lady told me, she said, if you didn't have stitches, I wouldn't have believed you had the surgery. Because she had to, in physical therapy, they cut this off of you. Even though you can unwrap it and all that stuff, they just cut it off for you. And then they put a new dressing, like a little gauze dressing on with some medicine on it, or iodine on it or whatever with a gauze, and then put a Band-Aid on it, pretty much, when you go to physical therapy. That's pretty much all they do. And they tell you don't get it wet and all that stuff until you go back to your follow-up where they take your stitches out. But healing was actually okay. I didn't have much issues with healing with my left hand. Now this right hand, there's a difference, because with the right hand, let me take a sip of my iced coffee. Hold my lip. Right hand, yeah. So I ended up going back to my follow-up. Right hand's getting worse because right hand hasn't been touched yet. So I'm still have to put so much pressure on the left hand. Well, when they took the stitches out, it didn't look like this, of course. It was, you could still tell where the skin was still pushed together. One of the stitches, the little pieces got stuck underneath my skin because my hand healed so fast. They were shocked by that. So they were like, okay, we're going to put you on another 4 weeks, because they were like, well, you can go back to work now. And I told them, the type of job that I do, I need both hands for. I can't type with just one hand and meet the metrics that this job wants me to do. So they was like, well, we'll just put you out until you see the actual surgeon who worked on you. Did that, seen him last month in May. Yeah, seen him May. And of course he looked at my hand, asked me how I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. Gave me the stats of, you can go to work and work for 1 hour, but that's it. If they can't accommodate that, then you're not going to be able to work. Well, of course they couldn't accommodate that, because what is 1 hour going to do? And with one hand, they don't even know what the hell they're going to do for me, because it's a call center. And phone calls go over an hour. Anyway, so it ended up being that, ouch, we had to figure out what we're going to do my next surgery. If this one was going to be done before I had to pay deductibles, then the only option was to be awake during surgery. Do I wish I had the $2,000 to put for deductible for when the surgery was done? Yes, I do wish I had it. But I was just getting ready to move. I just moved. We're getting ready to move. And all of that. So I wasn't going to have the money. So I moved, and then a week before the surgery. And then, of course, the next week I had the surgery. I was awake the entire time. Very different experience, obviously. Excuse me. So, let's just say I had anxiety when he said, okay, we're going to do it while you're awake. And he told me at my follow-up appointment for this one how it was going to happen, what was going to be done, an injection here, blah, 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 numb you up here. Yeah, I heard all that. And yes, I took medical assisting, so I knew like what that meant, and da-da-da-da, and you know, blockage from the tourniquet. It was a power tourniquet, not just like a regular tie-up tourniquet. This one actually put pressure like a tire would, kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, okay, all right. He's like, listen, he's one of the best hand surgeons in the area. So that put me at ease, but I was still very much so afraid. And I'm not afraid of a lot of stuff. Like I told him then, I'd rather have a C-section again and get up and walk around after take the epidural out. That's how serious I was. So it ended up being a week later. Like the 22nd was my appointment. May 22nd was my follow-up for this hand. A week later, actually on the 30th, went for the actual surgery. Chose a morning time because I don't have a car anymore, so I have to be picked up and taken wherever the hell I have to go. Plus my son has to come and then be with my parents while I'm doing whatever. Another story for another day. Anyway, so get to the hospital, get checked in, blood pressure high as hell. I think she said my blood pressure was like 117, it was one something over 98. It was high. So get to the hospital, get checked in. Blood pressure's high as hell, and I warned them I didn't take my blood pressure medicine because I normally take it in the middle of the day because I am on blood pressure medicine, unfortunately. They're like, okay, well, we'll just wait and recheck it again because sometimes they'll turn you away if they can't get your blood pressure down. So blood pressure went down just a little bit, but they know that it's called like white coat syndrome, where your shit just goes up and doesn't every doctor's appointment, and they can check my records, they'll see that it's high as hell. Anyway, got there, blood pressure was high because my anxiety was high, my pain in my hand was high. Okay, sit down, get undressed, all that stuff, laying in the bed. It's like 10:15, and I had to be there by 9:45. Well, and I'm holding my hand like this because right now the nerves in my hands are hurting. So like 2 hours go past. And I didn't know. I fell asleep because I was already sleepy. And my son didn't go to sleep. It's like 3 o'clock that morning. Had to get him up at like 7:30. I had to walk the dog, get the cat food, the dog's his food, all that stuff. Anyway, and then get my son up. And then of course get to the hospital. Well, we got to the area too early, so we had to go to where we used to live at first, which is my parents' house, to go at least chill out for a moment before it's time to go. Anyway, got to the hospital, got checked in, got in the bed, waited. 2 hours go past. It's 12 something. The OR nurse comes in, tells me what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Because the doctor comes in again, because I told him, can I have an anxiety pill or something? Because my anxiety is high. So before they come in, he comes in to tell me what's going to happen again. He's like, okay, she's ready. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm here. I might as well just go ahead. So, because my worry was feeling pain and I can't move. And they can't get the pain to subside quick enough. That was my worry. Being cut open is not a worry. Just being able to feel every cut, things like that. That was my only worry. I have piercings. I have my labret. I didn't really feel that. My tongue didn't feel that. My nose, I felt that. But it was nothing like being cut, sliced. My C-section, of course, I didn't feel when they cut me. But I felt the aftermath. But I knew what I had to face when I got home with my C-section. So I was up and walking around with that fresh cut, all that stuff 2 hours later. I ain't had a choice. But anyway, because I didn't take medicine either. And that's one thing that shocked my surgeon. He was like, what do you mean you didn't take any medicine when you had your C-section? It's like, I didn't take the medicine that they offered me, which was like Percocet or something like that. They offered me Percocet. I think I've only taken it one night that I was in the hospital after I had my son. And I did not take it again. I took Motrin for the inflammation, but that's pretty much it. Anyway, they did what they had to do, get my arm ready, have my hand is out, and he was like, okay, 2 bee stings. I'm like, I've never been bee stung in my life, which I've never had. The bee sting part didn't bother me. It was when he shot the medicine through that syringe up my nerves and my fingers. And they still hurt to this day. I still have achiness from that exact feeling. So when I go to my appointment, I'm gonna let them know that. At the surgery, it was on a scale of 1,000 when they shot it through. Because he was like, "Do you speak French?" And I was just like, "No." He's like, "You're about to in a second." And he's like, "You can. It's okay. Speak French to me." So of course, when he shot that medicine, you're awake feeling this pain at this point. So when he did, I was like, "Fuck!" Like I bit like grit down, but I couldn't move because my hand is over here and I'm laid out on this bed. And the OR lady's watching my blood pressure, but she was like, "It's okay." She was like, just tapping me. She's like, "It's okay, it's okay." He's almost done with the first needle of numbing. I'd rather have a C-section again. Honest to God. Either way, I felt it shoot. Because he had to, well, on this end I can show you, he had to shoot it somewhere around here. And it shot up to this, and half of this finger. And then he had to do it again somewhere around here, but on this hand, and it went like the other side. So that it numbed all of this. All of this had to be numbed. Because they're going to have to cut right here. Like right now, I just touched this part right here. And I can feel it on the other side. Anyway, I felt both of those. That was painful. It didn't last long, but the initial was a shock. Like, oh, what the is that kind of thing? Like, and you can't move. So then after they did that, then he waited, and then they started doing the tourniquet thing. It came out like right here, like my arm. It was like put around my arm, and they had to pretty much inflate it. And it pretty much squeezed all of this off to where from here up was completely like, there was no blood flowing through, none of that stuff. So I could feel him cutting, but it wasn't painful. Then he got to another little section of like skin, tissue, whatever the fuck it was on the inside, muscle, whatever. I felt it a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. I was just like, I feel that. He had to stick me again. They said I had like 10 syringes lidocaine, whatever you want to call it, just so they can get through enough to where it's numb enough to where I can't feel anything anymore. After that, it literally only took him 30 minutes to do everything he needed to do. Honest to God, from like start to finish, from injecting me to wrapping me back up. It honestly took 30 minutes, most likely, because I think I was back in my room. Like by the time they got me in the OR, it was like 12:20. By the time they got done prepping me on the table, getting my arm and hand ready for him, it was probably like 12:40. And by the time I got back in the room, it was like 1:10, 1:15. Literally. Did not take him long at all. But this hand is healing very different than this hand. So with this hand, I did not feel any of the after effects of the medicine being shot in my hands at all. Like I was pretty much able to use this hand immediately, no pain, no nothing. I didn't have to take Tylenol for that long. This hand, I had that surgery on the 30th, and today is now the 4th, and I've been taking Tylenol every 500 milligrams, 2 of them, Tylenol, off-brand Tylenol, every couple, like every 6 to 7 hours since then, because I can feel the achiness of, like right here hurts, it's tender, of the nerves from after that numbing medicine was in, and it feels odd. So most of that can be fine, but if I overuse my hand, it hurts. Also, down here, it's the where they had to do the cutting down of the actual what's the name. On here, if I press this one, I don't feel pain here. But if I press it on this side, it sends a shooting pain up these fingers. So I'm gonna have to let them know that, because I don't know if I can manage typing while that, because I'm pressed down. I'm gonna have one of those wrist guard things, and if I'm putting pressure and it's shooting the pain, I'm not gonna be able to do nothing. So I'm hoping that there's no nerve damage, but that's what has been going on. Like right now as I'm talking, it hurts, and I don't want to. I can show. My dog is humping the air while he's sleeping. Okay. Stop it. Poor baby. He old and they never had him no female doggy. Anyway, so I'm hoping there's no nerve damage. I'm hoping that goes away, but I can feel just by pressing the certain nerve underneath this, it sends a shooting pain to these 3 fingers. If I don't press it, I can function, but right now these fingers are still numb, and they already warned me, of course, just like they warn everyone else. It can be immediate relief, or it can take up to 3 months or longer. I'm hoping that the relief goes away as soon as possible, because I don't like the numbness, but I'm also not in like pain with my knuckles and things like that anymore. So, but the new thing is I can hear my wrist pop. I don't know if that's good or not, but yeah, that is the update of this carpal tunnel syndrome mess. I'm sorry I'm looking over here, so I'm so used to that, but if for whatever reason you have more questions, comment down below. If you ever had carpal tunnel issues, no matter if you had a surgery done or not, comment down below. What was your experience? I can braid hair. I was able, before I had this one done, after I did my my sister-in-law's hair a couple weeks ago, and it felt so good to do it. Like I felt so happy I was able to do her hair without having issues. Like I would used to have to take my hand and just like bang it. Both of them, if they got numb, I have to bang them against something to get them to kind of react and let the numbness go away. But I've been able to I did my sister-in-law's hair the weekend before I had my surgery, and then now I need to do my hair because my hair was from moving and all that stuff was sweaty and all that stuff. So it needs to be done. And it's been over, tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday will be a week. A full week? Yeah, so Thursday this week will be a full week that I've had the surgery done. And I can braid if I want to, but I have to be mindful of this because me trying to braid, this is still going to get in the way of my own hair. And I can't get this wet, so I have to cover it up and all that other stuff while I'm washing and blow drying. But needless to say, hopefully it'll get better. Both surgeries are now done. I'm due to go back to work in a couple weeks, but we'll see what they say about the follow-up for this. I will bring you guys along with me and for my well, I won't be able to do physical therapy. I can't record while I'm doing physical therapy, but I can try to record for my follow-up visit. The follow-up visit, I believe, is going to be with the physician's assistant of the surgeon, and she will, like, I let her know all the time if I'm this, that, whatever can happen, and she'll tell me if I'm going to be out further or not. And then the next follow-up will be with the actual surgeon himself. So they may put me out longer depending on how this heals, and then they may not. So when this one, the little string or stitch got caught, they put me out for another 4 weeks just to make sure it healed fine. So we'll see how it goes. God's got it. I'm okay. It's just been a lot going on in life. I still have not put up a house tour. It's not even a house, apartment tour. Don't know, it won't be a unfurnished one, that's for sure. I can do a quick one showing like the rooms, but I don't really want to show the whole layout, if that makes sense, just because people are nosy. So, and I don't want to have to get gully because people being extra. So I may not do that. I just may, I don't know. I'll pray about it and think about it. God will tell me to do it or not to do it. That's just what it is. But I know this is a long video. I'm sorry, but so much was going on. I'm sorry, a little crazy, but it's late. I had to clean, and that's a whole other story because where we are, it's not the best. So until next time, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and stay tuned for the other videos, because now that my surgeries are done, I can, after I'm healing, I can get back to editing without pain soon, because editing has been taking me a while, because yet again, I'm using my phone to edit, and even if I use my computer to edit, it was hurting me to do so. So I really couldn't do exactly what I wanted to do as quickly as I wanted to. But once I'm completely healed, I can get it done faster. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So stay tuned for more. Love you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful week. If you want to support, because I'm not going to have a P.O. box for a little while. I have to wait and open a new one. But if you want to send me things or whatever, you can go on my Amazon link, and it should be able to, it'll tell you the state and city, but it's not going to tell you the address, but you can still send stuff that way. Or like on my wish list, you can add things to the wish list. I made it to where if you want to add something, you can. Or you can email me things, business email at the bottom, and of course follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I know I need to post more on those, and I'm trying to do that more, but again, life has been life, and I've been trying to kick it before it kicks me, if that makes sense. So until next time, hopefully I'll have a new hairdo, because Lord child, that's all I can say. Love you guys. Peace.